What's up, basketball fans? Welcome to the Ratch Report. It is time to talk about the Toronto Raptors yet once again because we got some rumors linking them to Cam Johnson. Yes, you heard that correct. NBA Central reported that the Brooklyn Nets have been offering Cam Johnson and the 19th pick in hopes of acquiring another lottery pick per Nets Daily. Toronto and Houston are two teams they have been in contact with. What does this mean for the Raptors? Should the Raptors give up the ninth overall pick for Cam Johnson and the 19th overall pick? I'm going to be looking at a few different scenarios for the Toronto Raptors point of view in today's video, as well as we got some more news to discuss regarding the Giannis rumors as well. So stay tuned for that, guys. If you are ready to watch this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button. And with that being said, let's get into today's video. As you guys know, I do like to give out shout outs on my channel. The shout out yet once again goes out to Kevin Halme. Kevin, thank you so much for supporting this channel through your likes and comments. He's gotten back-to-back trivia questions correctly. He's going to go for the three-peat. Let's see if someone can stop him. But talking about the Toronto Raptors, obviously, Cameron Johnson, 19th overall pick for, someone like the Toronto Raptors for the 9th overall pick could be a very intriguing option for several reasons. So Cam Johnson's 29 years old. He shoots the three-point ball really, really well. He's also listed around, I believe, 6'7", 6'8". So he's someone that you can kind of fill in that small forward shooting guard position, give you a little bit some defense as well, and just help you more so in terms of floor spacing. But he just seems like a player that would fit really well with the Toronto Raptors. Is it worth giving up the 9th overall pick for, however? And who would the Toronto Raptors give up? Well, let's take a look at Cam Johnson's contract situation here and then see who the Raptors would give up in return. So if the Raptors were to acquire Cam Johnson, he makes $20.5 million next season. And the following season, he has a salary of $22.5 million, which really is not a bad deal overall. Now, a player that would come close to that would be Jakob Poeltl. But look, the Toronto Raptors aren't going to trade Cam Johnson for Jakob Poeltl and the 9th pick. The Raptors lack center depth already. So a player that I wanted to talk about in terms of trade scenarios is RJ Barrett. So RJ Barrett next season makes $27.7 million, and the following season makes $29.6 million. Now, how does this make sense for the Toronto Raptors? You may ask. Well, they do save about $7 million in cap space, which is great. And with respect to RJ, I think Cam Johnson just fits so much better on the Raptors overall in terms of floor spacing, in terms of providing a need for the Toronto Raptors, which is defense. However, the 9th pick is a ton to give up. When you talk about trading a player like Cameron Johnson, you're trading back 10 spots. And look, Cam Johnson is a really nice player. I really do like him. But in this situation here, I think the Toronto Raptors do have an opportunity to draft a handful of players at the 9th position that have a ceiling of at least Cam Johnson or higher. Two of those players I personally have been really big on are obviously Cedric Coward, as I highlighted in several videos ago of someone that could be a draft riser, and we're seeing it. And then someone like obviously Igor Demin as well, who I really, really do like, and I think he could have a unbelievable ceiling once he gets to the NBA and develops fully in the right system. So for a Toronto Raptors team to trade for Cam Johnson, it only makes sense if you're going to pursue Giannis, because what I would do personally, if you're asking me, is try to acquire Cam Johnson, obviously the 19th pick, but then also see if you can move your second round Portland Trail Blazers pick and acquire one of the Nets' late first round picks as well. I believe it's the 26th and 27th pick. Now, why would the Raptors do this? Because now it gives you two additional first round picks that you can attach to a Giannis deal. And give Milwaukee a little bit more first round picks as well, right? That's always more enticing. So I think if the Raptors were to trade for Giannis, it makes a lot of sense. But this is where we're going into our next segment here, because let's talk about some other news that came out yesterday, and we'll tie this all together at the end of the video and discuss whether it makes sense for the Toronto Raptors to trade for Cam Johnson. So according to Doug Smith, and shout out to Raptors Update on Instagram, they were reporting that no one on the Toronto Raptors is untouchable in trade talks for Giannis. Again, according to Doug Smith, and before people are so quick to dismiss Doug Smith, I want to kind of go back a few years when we had Bob McCowan. He said something on his show which was very interesting. He said OG wants out of Toronto, and everyone mocked him, saying he has no sources, guys. As someone who, doesn't have sources but knows people that has sources, trust me, there's a lot of group chats out there. You hear stuff, and obviously Doug Smith being, reporter for as long as he has been, Bob McCowan, obviously making a few connections, you hear things from different people. So it wouldn't be a far stretch to say that, Doug Smith isn't incorrect on this. A lot of people are quick to dismiss him. I think the Raptors would be foolish to have anyone that is untouchable on the Raptors roster. Scotty Barnes is not untouchable if I'm talking about trading for Giannis. And this is where we kind of tie into the Cam Johnson trade as well, right? Like if the Raptors were to trade Scotty Barnes, trade, one or two more pieces and throw in a couple first round picks, two or three, that's where it's very helpful where you can use the Nets' additional first round picks to kind of help facilitate those trades. Now, obviously, you could say, while the Raptors could just trade that ninth overall pick plus Scotty and other few assets for Giannis, but that doesn't give you Cam Johnson. When you look at a roster, if the Raptors were to make two different trades where they're able to land Cam Johnson and Giannis to the Toronto Raptors, they would have a roster of Jakob Poeltl, Giannis, Brandon Ingram, Cam Johnson, and IQ. So that is a really good starting five, if you ask me. It's just very well rounded as well. So that's why I think if the Raptors were to trade for Cam Johnson, that's where it makes sense, where you have to be absolutely sure that you are able to trade for Giannis. If not, then it doesn't make a lot of sense, guys, because yes, Cam Johnson is definitely going to be a win now player that can help you win a lot of games. And he's going to be someone that could probably, get you from being the 8th seed to possibly being the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference. But in terms of winning in the playoffs, how much does he impact that? Like, is he going to be someone that takes you from a potential first, second round exit to an Eastern Conference finals? I don't necessarily think so. Cam Johnson is a really nice player. Don't get me wrong. He's a player I would view as the third or fourth best option on a championship team. And it's kind of similar. I'm not saying they're the same players. And it's similar in terms of having the impact that Aaron Nesmith does on the Indiana Pacers. And obviously, Aaron Nesmith has been huge. But look at the first two guys in that order as well, right? So again, it would be big for the Raptors if they got Giannis and Cam Johnson. But for the time being, I'm out on this trade just because I think the ninth overall pick is very valuable. And I just think some of the players available at ninth have really good potential, even higher than Cam Johnson, in my opinion. So that's why I don't think the Raptors should make this trade. I think the Houston Rockets possibly can. And also from, the Nets point of view, when you think about what their asking price for Cameron Johnson was even a few seasons back, they were asking for 3 or 4 first round picks. They've lowered that asking price because obviously no one's willing to pay that anymore. The asking price for a lot of all-star players or even borderline all-star players or even really good role players has gone down significantly, which is why the Raptors were able to get Brandon Ingram from only one first-round pick. Obviously, Brandon Ingram's situation was unique. I will say that. But I think the lowering the asking price is one thing. It's another, for the Raptors to trade that ninth overall pick. I'd trade another first-round pick in any other season, but not this season. So again, that's my thoughts on whether or not the Raptors should trade for Cam Johnson. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Would you trade the ninth pick to move back 10 spots and obviously trade RJ Barrett for Cam Johnson and the 19th overall pick? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, I do have a trivia question for you today. And since we're talking about Cameron Johnson was drafted by the Timberwolves. Which pick did the Timberwolves use to draft Cameron? Was it A, the 7th pick? Was it B, the 4th pick? Was it C, the 11th pick, or was it D, the 13th pick? So whoever answers this trivia question correctly first in the comment section gets a shout out in my next video. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have yourselves a great day.